We see Dave on his knees, alone in a field. As we see a group of deadheads down the hill. As Dave sees them, as he pulls out his gun, and as he loads it and points it to his head, as he says, I'm sorry, Catherine. Rose, I just can't do it anymore. I can't. I lost my family again. This time, I just don't know if I could go through this pain all over again. He sits there with the gun for a few minutes. As we hear, Rose's voice says, Don't do it, Daddy. Dave is crying as he puts the gun down, and he uses it to shoot every last one of the deadheads that start running towards him. We see Roger comes out of the woods and says, Hey, you good? Dave stands there around the dead bodies and says, Yeah, damn thing snuck up on me. Roger can tell something's wrong with him, and he says, We better keep moving. Dave says, All right, let's go. As they walk away, we see the dark clouds as we see a storm is coming. We see some dead bodies getting eaten up by 3 deadheads, as Dave kills all 3 of them, as he stabs and kills all of them, as he proceeds to stab the last one several times over and over, as Roger says, Dave! Dave says, I'm just making sure he's down. Fucking things are more deadly now. As we see Dave and Roger walking through the woods, as Roger says, We need to find water, food, maybe some supplies to last us for the night. Hey yo, Dave, you listening to me? Dave looks like he's in a daze and says, Yeah, sounds fine. As they keep moving, we see a few cars up ahead as Roger says, Let's search these. Dave says, You think there's anything worth a shit in these anymore? Roger says, Well, we're gonna see. As we see a few minutes pass by, as they search through car to car, as they find nothing, and Roger looks pissed and says, Not one scrap of food in one of these pieces of shit. Fuck! God damn it! Alright, I got one more lead. One more. Dave says, What is it? We see them going to an old abandoned community college, as we see spray painted on the door, Alex, I've been searching for hours and hours, but all I found was reanimated corpses. There's a place I've been hearing about. People are going there. It's called Ziltramite. I hope you can find it. That's where I'm heading now. Otherwise, I won't make it much longer on my own. I love you, little brother. Rhea. Roger reads it and says, "This woman's been searching for her brother for a long time. This world truly makes people more determinate than they were before. I know if that was my brother out there, I would have been doing the same damn thing." Dave looks at him and says, "Yeah, definitely." Roger says, "I'm going to swing around back. Go through the back door. When you hear my door open," Dave says, "open mine here." Got it. Roger goes out back as he has his knife hand ready, as he slowly opens the door. As we see him walking down this hallway, as he's going through lockers trying to find anything he can. Dave walks in as a few deadheads walk up to him, as he kills a few of them. Then, we see a rat comes out of one of the mouths of the deadheads as it then jumps Dave, as Dave is then on the floor, as he grabs his knife and he kills it. We then see the rat run onto the floor as it just stops. Dave looks at it with a weapon in hand, as he then sees the rat explodes right in front of him, as Dave says, "What the shit?" He then keeps moving through the college halls. Roger is looking through the lockers trying to find something of value, as he finds nothing, as he then hears growling coming from one of the lockers. As he sees it's coming from number 49, he stands there ready, as he looks like he doesn't want to do it, as he says to himself, "Fuck, I can't leave you like this." He opens the locker, as we then see it's a dead young boy, as we see a knife in his stomach, as we see it doesn't look like he died because of the dead. He killed himself during the outbreak. Roger looks horrified by this, as he then sees some leftover rations, and he has no other choice for his and Dave's survival to take them. Dave makes it up to the roof, as he sees the dark clouds in the sky, as he then sees a dead family who are nothing but skeletons now. As we see the two parents and the child, as we see it bothers Dave, as it reminds him of his family, as he gets down on his knees, and as he breaks down and cries and says, "I don't know what purpose I have. What do I have? Fuck." We hear a big strike of lightning as Roger comes up to the roof and he says, "Well, good thing we got here when we did. Come on, let's get inside." Later that night, we see them sitting in the college as they're just sitting in the cafeteria. As we see the deadheads in the parking lot, as we see one of them get struck by lightning, and Roger says, "We'll wait it out here for the night. It'll pass in the morning, hopefully." Roger says, You think that place is real? You know, Ziltramite?" Dave says, "Yeah, it probably is. Although I'm not sure that's the best idea." Roger says, "Well, there's only one way to find out." Dave says, "You can go. I'm staying here." Roger says, "Dave, I've been making these same damn circles with you for the last few days in the same general area. I'm seeing the same damn street signs every day. We're not getting any further out." "Why?" Dave says, "Because I don't think we're the only ones left. One of the rules that I remember living in a world like this: no body, no guarantee." Roger says, "Well, even if they're alive, how the hell are we gonna find them?" Dave says, "We'll find them. I know we will. Roger, I don't believe in much these days anymore, but finding the ones that we care about, it's something I hope is possible." Roger says, "So what about after? If we find everyone, we go to Ziltramite?" Dave looks unsure, and Roger says, "Speak your mind." Dave says, "Do you really think it's safe?" Roger says, "I'm putting my faith into it, man. I have to at this point. We have to try new things. Dave says, I get it. And I said the same thing back in my 4x4 days. And you know what? I lost my family over that thinking. I put my faith into people. Hell, at this point, I don't know if I can put my faith anywhere. There is two outcomes here in this undead world. It's either a group of horrible people who do horrible things, or it's a group of good people who have bad enemies, and you get involved in a lot of bad shit. So even if this place is a thriving and surviving paradise, it won't last. That's the reality. Roger looks upset because he knows he's not wrong. A few hours later, we see Dave on watch as we see Roger passed out. As Dave then hears a sound coming from the hall, as he pulls out his gun and slowly walks out. As he's standing down the hall, as he then turns around, and then he hears a loud bang as the whole building starts shaking, as Roger wakes up and runs out with his gun out. As we see Dave says, "You alright?" Roger says, "Yeah, you?" We hear another bang as they run outside to see two huge trees fell on top of the college building. As Dave says, "We can't stay, Rog. It ain't safe." Roger says, "Well, where the hell do we go?" Dave says, I don't know. Roger notices how mentally broken he is and says, "Hey, we'll find somewhere. Come on." They run, as we then see they're trying to run across a bridge. As we see, the other half of the bridge is destroyed. Dave says, "There's nowhere safe to go." The trees are falling down and trash is being blown away all around. As we see a group of over 20 deadheads, as they then stop, they then start running after Dave and Roger. Dave says, "This way." They run down a trail as we see a bunch of muddy deadheads all stuck in the mud. As we see, they're so deep that they're all stuck in the mud and the deadheads can't get out. Dave and Roger try to turn back as the rest of the deadheads are running behind them. As Roger says, "We gotta go through. It's the only way out." They pull out their knives and start stabbing one after another as they get deep into the mud. As the deadheads that were running after them all fall in the mud, as they all start piling up on top of each other. As Roger says, "Okay, they're done. We gotta fight through." Dave says, "We won't make it." Roger says, "We have to." Dave says, "No, we don't. And I can't do this anymore. I can't fight anymore. I'll give you an opening and you go." Roger says, "No way. I'm not leaving you." Dave says, "You'll be better off without me. You don't want me to live, man. You don't." Roger says, "Yes, I do." Roger uses his hand and kills a bunch of them and clears a path and grabs Dave by his jacket and says, "We're getting the hell out of here now." They get out of the mud as some of the deadheads get unstuck and start running after them as Dave and Roger are running for a while. As we then see over 10 minutes goes by, as we see Dave and Roger cover themselves in mud as they hide at the bottom of a hill, as Roger looks at Dave and says, "Shh," as the deadheads just pass them by. 30 minutes later, we see they get up and slowly walk away. As we see, they look tired and dehydrated. As Roger then sees a barn, as Dave says, "I can't keep going, man, I can't." Roger says, "We aren't done. Not now." They enter the barn as they close the door, as they are both out of breath and fall to the ground. As Dave says, "We're done. We're done." Roger says, "Nah, we can get through." We hear several deadheads banging on the barn door as Dave says, This is what I'm talking about, man. How many bullets do we even got? Roger says. 1. Dave looks sad and says, 1. Just 1 bullet left. Roger realizes what he means, and that he means suicide. As Roger says, No. There's no way it ends like this. There's no way. Dave says, Roger, look at this. Look at us. Our home is gone. Our family is gone. This world is gone. Christ, your brother's gone. Roger says, My brother. Dave says, Hey, Roger, I killed your brother. Roger looks angry and doesn't know what to say, so he doesn't say anything. And Dave says, Owen was left in charge after my dad died, and I knew he was gonna make the place fall. I fucking knew that little rat would make the place crumble. And he had it out for my wife. And I knew he did. And he wanted me gone. And after my dad died for Kingstonville, I knew I had to make it work. I knew I had to make the place what it had to be. But I had to kill him. So that is exactly what I did. Roger holds his gun tightly, as Dave says, Oh, yeah. And Roger, after I killed your brother in the dead of night, blood on my hands, Catherine found me, and she helped me hide his body, and my wife is in the ground now, and now I have to live with myself as my wife died a fucking liar. And now my daughter's probably dead too. And that's what we call fucking karma. I had it coming. Just like I have this coming. He puts his gun down and says, It was your brother. You get your revenge. I would do it if I were you. Hell, I would do it for you. And I've tried, but I can't. I don't know why I can't. So you have to do it. He takes Roger's gun and lifts it for him and says, Do it. Roger says, It all makes sense now. You led my brother out to his death and came back with your fucking sidekick wife, and you both lied to my face. And I even offered you leadership, you son of a bitch. He clicks his gun and says, I understand. But do you understand now? No fucking wonder you were in prison before all this. Hell, I made you a deal that I'd help you lead Kingstonville as the right hand, as your right hand, and the whole time you had my brother's corpse where? Dave says, I left him in the lake. Roger holds the gun to his head and says, Did you really think after my brother's death that you could cut me out of my own deal and make me fall in line with you? You're just inspired by bad, Dave Miller. Dave says, I don't want to be here anymore, man. And I'm not gonna make it out here anyway. And I can't do it myself, so please, fucking kill me. Kill me. You know you want to do it. You know you want to. You know you want to pull that trigger, so fucking pull it. Roger puts his hand on the trigger. And then the deadheads break down the barn door as they both get up, and when it matters, they fight together and stab and kill every last one of those deadheads that are coming for them.
Too much to say, too much to lose. I get frustrated thinking about the world I brought you to.
The next day, we see the sun coming up as the storm has passed, and they're both sitting outside, covered in blood. As we see, they're just not speaking. As Roger walks up to him, as we see, they're just not speaking. and Roger walks up to him and says, "I'm not gonna kill you today, because what the hell would that do anyway? But I can't look at you either. This whole time, the leadership of Kingstonville was built on a lie. And I see that now. I'm gonna be on my own." Dave says, No, man, you can't go. Roger says, "Dave, we're done here. You want to run off and kill yourself, be my guest. But if you think I'm gonna kill you, you're wrong. When I was in Afghanistan, I had to kill somebody. Didn't think anything about it aside from it was just something I had to do. Later, I found out that guy had a daughter, a 7-year-old little girl who was scared for her daddy. And I lived with that every day of my life. Still do. So if there's a chance that you find your daughter out here, I'm not going to be that guy again, and I'm not going to stop you. I am not the kind of guy that kills the father of a daughter. Not anymore. I'll see you down the road, Dave Miller." As he walks off and leaves Dave on his own.
Be the young, the brave, the powerful, 'cause the world is standing waiting for someone.
Hours go by. As the sun goes down, we see Dave walking alone in a field as he comes across an old ranch house. As he sees it from up the hill, as he pulls out his gun and loads it. But then, he unloads his gun and takes the bullet out as he makes the choice to keep moving. But then, we see a man come out of the house with a shotgun and says, "Hey, hands up, asshole! You better state your business right now, or I will kill you on my land." Dave says, "Well, I didn't know that there was anyone here. Although I may not be the kind of guy you want around." The guy says, "Hey, let me ask you something. Do you want to die?" Dave looks at him as a tear runs down his face, and he says, No, I don't." As the man lowers his gun and says, "All right, then let's start over." He puts his hand out and says, "I'm Matthew. And you are?" Dave says, "A broken man. But you can call me Dave Miller."